Well, here we go again. Hollywood is dismantling yet another great story. Of course, the industry has been warping history and literature since forever, and lately they've gone to work on their own IPs. So the Snow White remake is another installment in an ongoing project. Meanwhile, the internet is abuzz with commentary. But there are missing details. The actual purpose of the operation is absent. Instead, the logical inconsistencies are rehashed non-stop. For example, Snow White has been race-swapped, so the title no longer makes sense. This is an outrage which must be discussed and debated at length, but without ever asking why. And the 7 dwarves have been removed. The explanation for this is a commentary by Peter Dinklage in which he disapproves of dwarf characters in Hollywood. This was after he'd cashed his paychecks for playing dwarf characters in Hollywood. Of course, actors are dumber than a bag of hammers. That's confirmed by their political conceits, and it was dramatized in the Celebrity Jeopardy sketches on SNL. Those were hilarious and so true to life. The real explanation is much creepier. It's the leftist view that dwarves are an oppressed minority, so any portrayal of them must be stereotypical and offensive. Like most left-wing theory, this is a bald-faced lie. American society has treated little people with kindness and respect for many years, and the dwarves in the tale are excellent characters with quirks and laughter and heartwarming virtues. As the trailer shows, there'll be no need to see the film when it's released. It's clear that the woke formula is still firmly in place. Under that model, Prince Charming will be an a-hole, the stand-in for the dwarves will be some kind of wonderful, and Snow White will be perfection on a silver platter. But this time, the Woke League are not just altering an old IP, they're dismantling a cultural gem. It's a particularly vulgar form of cultural appropriation. Of course that's forbidden to regular craftspeople, but it's okay when Hollywood does it. The purpose is not only to mock the original, but also portray it as racist, sexist, and colonialist. Leave it to Hollywood to pile corruption and hypocrisy into several layers. Back on the internet, explanations for the rewrite are being offered. Supposedly, Hollywood is creatively bankrupt. They can't come up with anything original and need to plunder old IPs. This is only partially true, and again, the reality is worse. This is not the work only of screenwriters. There's another group on the job, namely the global conglomerates that own the studios. Though they share the same objective, they each have their own motive. The woke mob are taught cherry-picked anti-American history in the university. Our labor, environmental, and civil rights achievements are surgically removed from that record. And we're a savage society beyond hope of reform. The student body thus learned to hate society, and they actually want to destroy it. Wrecking our dramatic narratives is part of that process. It dovetails nicely with the cultural sabotage forced into our institutions starting in the 1980s. That job was done by the same global conglomerates that control the media and university. The program included globalism, crackpot social theories, supply-side economics, and one-dimensional history. TV channels were turned into soapboxes for Christian fundamentalism, cable news became a hyper-partisan nightmare, and Fox News featured endless culture war hatred. This is cultural sabotage spread across society with its tentacles in all mainstream institutions. The trashing of a kindly fairy tale is just part of the program. And crying about it on the net won't do much good. One thing that might help at this late date is a consumer backlash. The Trash Committee has got its hooks deep in society, and the logical response is direct confrontation. So as a public service, I've listed some of the most toxic firms on the scene. If at all possible, they should be mocked, ridiculed, avoided, and or boycotted into the Stone Age.